I'm watching Musty One try to fix an old bucket truck with the most rust I've ever seen on an air conditioning compressor. Having some leftover Thai food from last night. Now, let's see here. YouTube. This Creator Insider channel, I don't know. So this here is what I was talking about a couple weeks ago, where you kind of can, I guess it depends on your channel, but sort of lose your voice, as it were. It depends on the channel, but YouTube wants you to follow the analytics and let them guide how to make videos. Now, to me, that seems a little bit backwards, because people usually watch what they're going to watch because they like what they see. And if there's any deviation in that, they want you to follow the analytics and pivot your content and keep constantly changing. Well, for me personally, I just like to do what I do and kind of document everything I've been doing. Anyways, a lot of blathering early in the morning. Actually, I guess it's like almost 10 o'clock, but let's see what they have to say. I will summarize this for you in a minute. It's 6 minutes long. I don't know if I can get through it, but let's give it a shot.
Insiders, it's Rachel here, and today I want to talk about how to decide what video to make next. So in particular, that's how to use data.
Okay. Do I even go into it? So I know I'm not perfect, but like, how is it that employees of YouTube can not pay attention to audio at all? Anyways, whatever. I'm just going to watch. I'll let you know what happens.
There's Google Trends, which I mention in every video because it's a really powerful public tool to compare interest in different topics and size them. You can ask viewers directly what they might want more of.
I don't know if I can get through this. Let's see what the comments say. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, this... So, I guess my thought is, people always ask me, like, how do I get started on YouTube? Well, first off, do you know what you want to do? Is there some specific thing? If not, just grab the camera and start filming and uploading stuff. I mean, for example, I do more like, I guess, the vlogging or video blogging type stuff. And the way to get started in that is to just start filming things and start uploading them. And embrace the fact that you're going to learn as you go along. And I mean, like, go back to the early videos on my channel. The audio is all over the place. The music's so loud, it'll blow your headphones off your head. And, you know, it just, after a while, when you start getting some reps under your belt, you start uploading, you start editing, you start doing things, you'll kind of figure out what you like, what you don't like, and just go from there. But the main thing is to just do it. Grab your cell phone, like I'm using right now. You don't need a bunch of expensive equipment. I mean, you can edit video on like a tablet or an iPad or even on your phone. And there really isn't too much of a barrier to entry as far as equipment goes. I think a lot of times looking through, hang on, my arm's getting tired. Okay, I'm gonna prop my arm up on this seat back here. So after looking at a bunch of comments on that video, I can tell it's people that want to kind of get started with YouTube and don't know what they want to do. And I find that's real common. People are like, hey, I want a YouTube channel. I want to start doing something. And they try to do as much research as possible, try to figure out how to do things. They see a lot of the big creators and they're like, oh, well, you know, I have to do this. I have to edit videos a certain way. I have to, you know, have a certain amount of equipment. Things has to be just perfect or whatnot. No. Just start filming and uploading. And realize that, you know, the first videos are probably not going to be as good as they will be later on. Who cares? I heard years ago that you could make money on YouTube, and I was like, wait a minute, that sounds interesting. That was probably about 6 years before I actually started making YouTube videos, but I came across Casey Neistat one day and was introduced to the concept of vlogging, which is, you know, vlog, video blog, whatever. I just say vlogging because I guess it's a word now. And I was fascinated by the concept. So I just grabbed a camera and basically kind of did the same thing that he was doing because I was like, I really like this. You know, I don't want to straight up copy someone, but I think even if you do the exact same thing as someone else, each person has their own sort of way of doing things, their way of talking, their own flavor on the same type of setup. So I just started filming everything I was doing, editing together, And I was uploading videos every day, like 6 days a week, or 6.5 days a week is what I usually said. And yeah, I blasted through them super quick. There wasn't a lot going on. I didn't really plan anything. And let's be honest, I still don't really plan much. Probably 80% of my videos are just like, I'm doing something today, I'm going to film it. And I think sometimes people get caught up. And that's the thing. Depending on your type of channel, if you're trying to do something specific, like a podcast, or you want to do like an instructional series or some sort of daily news show or something, obviously that's going to require some planning. But you can't expect it to be perfect. You just have to do it, upload it, and not obsess over the details. There was a documentary, what was it? I forget the name. It was about how they make Southpark. It was like 7 days to air, or 6 days to air. I don't know. I forget the name of it. If I can find a link to it, I'll put the information down below. But that video was actually really helpful. Trey Parker, or was it, well, one of the Southpark guys, he was saying, so basically they write and film and animate their entire episodes in 1 week. Sunday comes around, their episode's airing, they have no idea what the next one's going to be. And there was one thing he said that really resonated with me. He said, I can get the video to about 80% of where I want it to be, or 90%, and I just call it good. He's like, I've had to train myself to stop there, because you can obsess over the last, like, 10% of details and spend a month on that, and the video is only, like, 10% better. So, to me, the style that I do, or the style that I've kind of rested on, is, I do what I can, but I try not to obsess over things. I still do sometimes. Like, there's plenty of videos. When I'm trying, like, for example, when I'm trying to put music on my videos, I'll go through my music catalog of the licensing company. What I do is I just go to the page that has the newest songs, because they put new ones on there every Friday, and I just rapid fire, click down the list, and find something that I like. Sometimes I don't find anything right away, and sometimes I fall into the trap of taking 2 or 3 hours just to find the music. Then I start getting flustered because I'm like, oh, I've wasted all this time, and blah, blah, blah. When realistically, there was some other song. Maybe I'd used it recently, maybe not. But I kind of start obsessing over things, and I waste a bunch of time. And that's where it starts becoming stressful. And then there's a whole thing about burnout. For me, burnout isn't really an issue because, as weird as it sounds, to me, I'm not putting an insane amount of effort into planning and filming stuff. Like I said before, I'm just doing something and I'm filming it anyways. So yeah, editing takes time, but I actually enjoy doing that. It kind of gives me something to focus on and whatever. But again, the long and the short of it is, just grab a camera, grab your phone, start filming stuff, and figure out what you're doing later. Now, I said earlier they were talking about how, use the analytics to figure out what people like and then, kind of go that route. Honestly, YouTube channels to me is kind of a personal thing, and you're doing what you want to do. So I would recommend do what you want to do, and, as long as it's not blatantly offensive or whatever, people will watch it if they want to. And if they don't want to watch it, they won't. There's people I watch on YouTube. I have absolutely no interest whatsoever in their content. But I just like watching the way they explain things, the way they do things. And for whatever reason, I just enjoy it. I can't explain it. So that's what I would say. Just do what you're going to do. Don't try and follow the trends. And I mean, I even made a hot knife video back in the day. I remember they had that 2,000 degree knife slices through things. I actually did it as a joke, but it was actually useful. I was using a hot knife to re-groove tires on one of my power chairs that the tires had gone bald on. But chasing trends and all that. And see, that's the other thing too. I don't really play the game of YouTube, like and subscribe, buy my merch, do this, do that. I probably should get some merch at some point, but if you play the game, to me, it kind of becomes unwatchable. I don't know. I kind of like the more authenticity, but that's just me personally. And this is just all my thoughts doing it. Obviously, my channel could be a lot bigger if I was doing all these things, but then it becomes annoying and you roll your eyes when you watch it and you skip through parts of the video. And I don't know. To me, it's about authenticity and the person and doing what they want to do, not trying to chase trends. Okay, I've been talking for like 10 minutes now. I don't even know if I'm going to publish this anywhere, but for some reason I saw this video in my feed and I started watching it, and then I looked at the comments and I'm like, I don't know. Maybe it applies to some situations, but I kind of feel like if you follow YouTube's advice on how to make content, you're going to kind of run in circles and get all stressed out and be worried about analytics and stuff. I mean, yeah, I'll look at things and I look at the comments. That's a really good way to tell what's going on. But early on, if you don't have a bunch of people watching, it doesn't really matter. Just try what you want, try different things. And, if it's too outlandish, I'm sure people will tell you. But don't take what single comments have to say. Like, I was listening to I'm still rambling. I was listening to the Safety Third podcast the other night. It's William Osman and a bunch of other people. He had Nate from the King of Random, who used to work there. And he was telling about how when he first started on the show, people were like, oh, who is this guy? We don't want him. Get rid of him. We want Grant back and all this stuff, And he clicked on the profile and looked, and it was like a 6-year-old kid that was angry. So he said for him at that point, he just didn't care anymore. He's like, it's literally children that are angry. So, I mean, obviously pay attention to the comments, but, if you're not doing anything insane, don't let 1 or 2 or 10 comments that are dumb get to you. Just, like I said, I keep repeating myself. Be you. Do what you want. And if people want to watch it, they will. And if they don't, they might watch it anyways and complain about it. But who cares? Even if they aren't literally kids, the cranky people are just children that are typing away. So don't worry about it. I don't know. I think I've said all I can say without starting to go in Louis Rossmann style circles. So I'm going to stop it here. But yeah, there's my thoughts. I just copied the footage into the editor and had a couple more things I wanted to say. Just remember, YouTube is you, with the word tube after it. I know that sounds really basic and simple, but that's what it started as. A bunch of people just uploading their own stuff, doing their own thing. Now, obviously things in the world have changed quite a bit since, was it like 2005 or 6, or I forget exactly when it was YouTube launched. I'm going to back away from that computer because the fan's getting loud. But since everything has changed, there's like TV networks trying to do things, and there's a lot of people that are like competing in the same space for views. Here's the thing. There's way more people in the world watching YouTube than there are people making videos. I forget how many hours of content they say are uploaded every minute. I always find it interesting when I'm watching YouTube. I'll sit there and think, okay, I've got 635 subscriptions. It seems like a lot. Some mornings, like this morning, I opened up my feed, and out of the 635 things, there was like 12 videos posted. So there's always something new to watch. And I always find it interesting to sit here and think, I wonder what channels are out there that I would really like that I haven't found yet. I know there's dozens or hundreds of them out there, but I just haven't found them. And that's the weird thing about it. Like, trying to make money or a living on YouTube, which I'm not doing it for the money or anything like that. Obviously, that's why I don't play the game. Hang on, my arm's getting tired again. But that's what's strange, is you're kind of beholden to this weird algorithm that can literally make or break your channel. When I first started, the channel name was just Weird instead of Totally Normal. And I found, for whatever reason, people that I knew that wanted to watch my videos, like I knew them in real life, they couldn't find it. They would type it in and just the word weird, a single adjective, wouldn't index. So I wound up changing the name. And there were a couple of other small channels called Totally Normal that hadn't uploaded in years. And I was like, whatever. It's a phrase that I use quite a bit. And I think it's kind of apt in a dry humor sort of way, for me and kind of what I do. But things are kind of changing, and like I said, there's a lot of people competing in the same space, but the thing is, they're not. You've got big TV networks trying to do stuff, you've got other people trying to do stuff. Everyone can coexist in the same space. And the way YouTube kind of pushes things is it's like a giant competition. You're trying to get the most numbers, you're trying to get the best analytics, it's all about numbers. You got to do more and more, you got to rank up the charts, you got to do all this. Leave all that out of it. Again, it's YouTube, as in you. There's some people that have watched both of my channels since the beginning. I have no idea how they found me, but I can guarantee you it wasn't from the algorithm. So, again, kind of ignore what a lot of people are saying. Do what you're going to do. Don't worry about people not liking it or mistakes. If there's little things here or there, like, say, I don't know, I posted videos where, like, a title screen gets screwed up by the editor and it doesn't come through, or, there's a section of audio or music that didn't go through. Who cares? Don't worry about it. Don't stress. Just take it easy. Do what you're going to do. I know I keep saying it over and over again, but you're like on the show Shark Tank. People come up with a new invention, and one of the questions that people ask is, who do you think your competition is going to be? And some people will be like, oh yeah, it's Nike and Adidas and all this stuff. And immediately it's like, no, you're going to fail. You're not going to compete against them. You've got to find your own space in the world and the internet. And even if it doesn't fit into anything, again, I keep saying it, who cares? Just do it. I just said the Nike slogan. Anyways, just some thoughts about all that. You don't have to compete. You don't have to play the numbers game. You don't have to do any of it. It's making a living on YouTube isn't necessarily a thing anymore. And you're beholden to some mysterious algorithm that, I'm not trying to be a downer, but it's probably not going to show you a whole bunch of views or get a whole bunch of eyeballs on you right away. I've found it usually takes some sort of external source. Like the videos I was uploading, I got maybe 20, 27 views, maybe 35 views on a good video or a good day or whatever. It took some external forces, like of me being on the radio and some TV news stations before people started discovering it more. And that's when I had to turn on comment moderation for the entire channel. It was the transit cop in a disabled parking space that kind of kicked things off. And holy cow, the comments got crazy. It got bad enough. That particular news channel had the story on Facebook. The comments section was just so toxic on Facebook that about a year later, they went through and just nuked all the comments on it. It was insane. And it was interesting, too, because the news reporter at the time, it kind of opened his eyes to the world of, disabled parking and trying to get around the world in a wheelchair and all this stuff. And I'm not saying it's terrible. It's just not quite the same as people think. And like I've said before, me in the past years, before I was in a chair, I thought, oh man, these people in chairs have it made. They've got their own parking spaces and automatic doors and all this. And then, suddenly I'm in a chair and I'm like, no, it's not how it appears from the outside. But anyways, there you go. Hopefully some of this helps. If you have any thoughts or things to add, put them down below. And there you go. Sunday morning random thoughts. Things like this I kind of feel strongly about. As far as technical video creation advice goes, the main thing is make sure people can hear what you're saying. The audio is very important. Try not to be in an echo chamber. Try to make sure your audio is not super quiet. The video quality doesn't really matter. As long as they can kind of see what's going on and they can't smell the pixels, as Dank Pods would say. If they can hear what you're saying, that's all that matters. Pay really close attention to your audio. Use your editor to boost it if need be. And basically, when you're done editing your video, play it on your TV, on your laptop, or whatever. Play a few other YouTube channels, like Casey Neistat or Philip DeFranco, or some of the other ones that have really good audio. And see if your volume settings are the same, and you can hear what you're saying in your video, as they are watching other videos of some bigger YouTubers that actually pay really good attention to audio. And I'm not saying Philip DeFranco is good or bad, but the way they do their audio is really good. Oh, or Jerry Rig Everything. He's another good one too. He's kind of a god when it comes to audio stuff. But just make sure when you play your video on the same device that you watch other YouTube videos on, you can clearly hear without cranking your volume what they're saying. Other than that, the rest of it really, honestly, does not matter at all. Trust me. I'm going to link a couple of videos below. Casey Neistat has a couple of really good videos on how to assemble vlogs and stuff like that. You know, he talks about like locked off shots versus things on a tripod, and even little things like right here. Like right now, the camera's kind of facing this way. When I had my arm propped up here before, I had it facing this way. There's little things you pick up along the way where if you just have a camera on a tripod and it doesn't move for the entire video, it subconsciously kind of makes it seem longer than it is. But if you're moving around in some shots and freehanding the camera in some shots, or just have it sitting down in other ones, or even if it's on the tripod the whole time, just occasionally change your camera angle. I mean, there's a lot of little things like that. So I'm going to link some of those videos down below that are kind of helpful with that. But again, don't lose your voice. Do what you want to do, and who cares?
I think, especially if you're a YouTuber or a vlogger, that perfection can often get in the way of productivity. So my rule is never let perfection get in the way of good enough. So
film what you need and then actually enjoy your time off, because otherwise you're going to realize you spent the whole vacation looking at the back of your camera, and that's never fun.
cinematography part 2. Hold the camera steady. No one wants to watch super shaky cinematography. It hurts your brain, it's hard to see what's going on.